how you doing, folks? Once again, it's the off night here. We're having our fun. We got everybody here. We got from New York, Sam Greenfield, who's going to be filling your eyes and ears with all the amazing things that's happening in New York City. And we got Brenda Vaccaro, or as we like to call him, Jason Brandt. He's got a Brenda Vaccaro voice with a Jason Brandt face. And of course, because it's going to be exciting tonight, we're not only off-ramping, we're on-ramping. We're going to on-ramp and just kind of work all the things about, get all the things going, and I'm going to try and stay off the cutting room floor. So please welcome Mark Sweetman, your host and MC.
Hey, good to see you there, Andy. There I am. All right.
Good seeing you too, Mark.
Good seeing you. I'm not taking you down yet. Oh, man, I like that. This new music program not only gives me royalty-free music that they won't take my show down for, but it's also got a nice little quick fade button on it, so I can just click it. I don't have to bring down the pot.
It sounds good, man. It sounds great.
All right, now let's get to the stuff that we always get to the beginning of the show. That's Andy. He's my announcer, my co-host, our longest-running guest here on the off night. Been with us. It was 2 years in August, right, Andy?
I believe so.
2 years. Right.
2 years.
And Andy. Yeah, Andy, when I had another co-host, we've had a couple. We had Seth Ressler, who's the guy who started this whole thing with me back when the pandemic started. Then we had T-Barb, and I think that's when I think T-Barb is about the time you joined us, right?
T-Barb was on. I kind of came in a little bit. Yeah.
He was on for about 8 weeks, and but anyway. In that time, you established yourself as the sort of sidekick, my Ed McMahon, but you were also good because we could always count on you on man on the street type things. We've had you at train stations, bus stations, restaurants, and all different parts of the state, even out of the state before. We come basically from the Washtenaw County area of Michigan. University of Michigan, Eastern Michigan University, Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, big names to people in Michigan, maybe not around the world, but but we do all right. So what I need to ask you now is the way you are framed. You've got a light above you as if you are some sort of angel, and I know you get to play Santa here in a few weeks. And I just wondered, where are you that you have such peculiar lighting? Because your face is lit as if you're front lit, but then behind you there's a little bit of a backlight. What's that all about?
Well, I tell you right now, I'm whisking myself via a flying carpet to places unknown. But actually, I'm going to try and pull into a rest area somewhere off around Belleville. So
okay.
That'll help me be able to control my stuff. But I'll be doing Santa Claus soon. I promise I'll be doing Santa Claus soon. I'll get my powers sometime in November.
Oh, good. And, I told Al Cedar, a friend of Andy and I, and the three of us are I would say, Andy, you, Al, and I are probably the at least the funniest Santa Clauses in the metro area. Yeah. I don't know if we're the best Santa Clauses, but we definitely play it well. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
And I told him you had the 12 Oaks gig, and he was jealous.
Jealous? Well, okay, sounds good.
He does all right. He does all right though. He's got that one. Yeah, he gets that Festival of Trees gig down at Cobo though, so that's not a bad gig for a Christmas Santa Claus.
He does it one time, or is it
Festival of Trees is like a 4-day festival. Oh, it's wow. It's a fundraiser for Children's Hospital, and what you do is every mostly businesses, but a lot of like United Way and Knights of Columbus, and it's either your company or your nonprofit organization or your charity. Everybody basically decorates a Christmas tree. In fact, last year they had the Shabbat of Metro Detroit, downtown Detroit, entered a Hanukkah bush, which I thought was kind of nice. Give it a little bit of diversity there, and it's judged, and they give out prizes, and basically because you pay to enter it because it's a fundraiser, the prizes are just for bragging rights. You go to your country club or your athletic club or your hunt club, and you get to show off your Festival of Trees trophy.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
but Santa is a gig for that one. He doesn't fly in and do that one for free. He drives in from Dearborn Heights and gets paid.
Oh, he gets paid.
Yeah,
So
you get
Alex
paid.
gets paid for the 4 days.
Now, yeah, now you get paid.
That's cool.
You get paid for 12 Oaks, right?
Oh yeah. You get
Okay,
paid
all
on
right.
a daily basis. It's like after
Yeah.
about 3 hours, you want to get paid. you, I'm sure I hear tales of Santa Claus is volunteering to do stuff, and I know within an hour they all want to get paid. It's like, oh, it's so nice to be Santa Claus. You get to hang out with the kids. And it's like, no, I think I want to be paid for this. Thank you. I know I look like somebody who can handle pee and poo all at the same time, but no, I think I want to get paid for this. Thank you. And
Nope.
the dog chewing my leg off. That's Santa Claus and dogs. That's always a great combination,
Now, is this better than the gig you had down in the Carolinas the last few years?
What's that?
For a few years there, you were going down to the Carolinas for the holidays.
No, I personally was not going down to the Carolinas. I was actually in.
Oh, I thought that
I went to
must have been
Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Must have been another.
Pennsylvania. At a couple different places. So.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of somebody else, and there's another Santa I know that goes down to the Carolinas every year.
Oh,
I was thinking it was you. I'm mistaking you for somebody else.
I went to California, and I wish to God I could go back to California because it's like, did you hear there's a foot of snow in the UP right now? A foot of snow.
Oh, I did see something about that. I saw that something about that. And my daughters are going down to Cedar Point this weekend, so I hope it doesn't swoop too far down here.
No, I'm going and I want to go back to California because there's a foot of snow here. In California, I could walk to my site.
Oh,
it was complete sun in Torrance. The only thing there was a nasty picture of Jack Nicholson going, "Welcome to Torrance." It's like, that's basically it. But it was
pretty
beautiful.
much all you need.
It was like sunshine and palm trees.
You lived in Torrance when you lived out there?
No, it's just I lived they gave me a hotel there.
Oh, I see. Oh, when you were doing Santa Claus out there, is that it?
Yeah, I was doing a traveling Santa thing. That's why I like to travel as Santa. Because I get to go to these places and visit them, and then hang out with money after.
Santa too until the restraining order came through.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a Santa Claus or the Gacy.
Well, the children were wondering why there's a box on Santa's leg that seems to be smoking and catching fire. At that point, it's like, okay, kids, yeah.
We had somebody describe you somebody was asking about you at the Unclub.
Oh dear.
And they described you as he looks like George Lucas let himself go.
I have been called Bob Seger, George Lucas, and pedophile George Lucas, and I would like to say that I in no way look like George Lucas. So
pedophile George Lucas.
I've got nothing to do with the movies, mostly.
Isn't George Lucas letting himself go redundant?
About at this point.
I guess so. I mean, he's in his 70s. I mean, how long are you going to keep it up?
Although his wife's very words.
Yeah.
How long are you going to keep it up? Can't keep it up.
By the way,
his wife is a very well.
Did you see that Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, who is 81, got married the other day?
Oh,
really?
Yes, to a doctor, Dr. Blumberg. She's 47.
Did he meet her at a Motel 6 that he's scheduled somewhere in Scranton?
Elton John was there. Ed Sheeran was there.
At least he married a doctor just in case to keep him going if he has to.
No question about it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. There's a lot of Sturm und Drang going on because Tom Brady went to the wedding instead of working out with the
with
with the Buccaneers.
Does he need to work? Does he
And
need
they
to work out?
lost. And they lost.
Uh-oh. Oh, well, that's different. That's a different.
And they
case
lost to the
altogether.
Steelers.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my God! No, Steelers are one of the worst teams in the league.
Oh,
That is correct.
Yes.
they're
And
not
also,
the Lions, though.
there's a video of him screaming at his offensive line.
Oh, dear.
And, you know, I always think to myself, the last people you want to scream at are the people who are hired to protect you.
Protect you. Right.
Yes. You know, do you think Tom Brady is kind of going like, I should have just retired last year? What was I thinking? You know?
No, he
Instead of-
doesn't think that. He doesn't think that way.
Yeah.
That's not. His wife threatened. His wife hired a divorce attorney. He's still playing, and it's Gisele Bundchen, and he's still playing.
The man's
It's not
crazy.
just- It's not just a wife; it's Gisele Bundchen.
The man's crazy.
Well,
I mean, he's
you
got-
know, the guy eats avocado ice cream. I rest my case.
No, there,
Oh,
there you go. All right, we got everybody on the
I
air.
did see his bodybuilding book. He does nothing but stretches. He doesn't lift weights. He basically uses straps and rubber bands.
Okay,
Really?
listen. I don't
Tell
want
me more.
I don't want my 43-year-old quarterback doing any weights. I want him
45.
I'm sorry, 45-year-old. I don't want my 45-year-old. My God, 45. He's beat George Blanda.
God,
He's outdone George Blanda. I think. All right.
And better.
Anyway, and he's won shit. George Blanda only kicked field goals at the end there. Okay, here we go. Sue works on this poem every week, so I'm going to read Sue's poem. She's not here with us tonight, but she did leave me, about 10 lines. So here we go. Her poem.
Chop them up. Let's do this.
It is becoming a real downer. Remember when she first started this? It was light and kind of like
Yeah.
took a
Now it's
lighthearted
like
view.
now it's like an obituary, for Christ's sake.
Exactly. That's what happens when she first started. She was in a good mood. Now, after reading news headlines for 2 years, she's gone. Oh,
Yeah, you know, Trump bangs a 9-year-old. Isn't it really cool? Whoever thought that he would be such a tool? Sue, listen, honey. You know,
All right,
don't you
here's
have the wit and wisdom of Roger Stone anywhere?
Roger Stone. Go man, get a bone. There we go.
Yeah, she hasn't said word one about Alex Jones. But anyway, I digress. Here's Susan's
For which we
poem.
thank her.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Russia
Exactly.
and Ukraine are at the top. 108 women freed in a prisoner swap. The war is still not looking pretty. Fighter jet crashed in a Russian city. On Sunday, a protester was dragged and beaten in the Chinese consulate in Manchester, England. Tensions are high between Beijing and London. Hong Kong people are welcome. Get your visa. Well done. The Virgin Orbit rocket arrived the other day. It will be the first space launch from the UK. And that's her poem of what's going on in the news.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Roger Stone, evidently Ivanka Trump didn't do enough to help Roger Stone, and he referred to her as, and I quote, that abortionist bitch.
Wow.
Now, we all know
That's
that Trump wants to do her. And he did not say a word to Roger Stone about this. And the reason you know he didn't is because Trump will die if he can't talk. And he never brought this up.
Mm-hmm.
When you take a look, now I'm going to read the names off, and you picture them in your brain, and you think about the Republicans you knew in like the 70s and 80s, and if they could have ever predicted that this is what the picture of Republicans would look like.
Yeah.
Roger Stone, Steve Bannon, Rudy Giuliani.
You could do worse.
Are you serious? Alex Jones.
Oh, well, Alex Jones doesn't count.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Tom Cotton.
Oh, that's you're just nitpicking at this point.
Okay, you're right. I am.
I'm paraphrasing.
Nick picking. Is that right?
I'm paraphrasing from Spinal Tap. Remember when they were reviewing one of their albums, saying it was an album of uncharted, retarded male sexuality and negative musical growth, and one of the band members goes, "Well, that's nitpicking, isn't it?"
Which band was this?
Spinal Tap.
That's
okay.
funny.
Oh, well, you know what? That's great because those guys are American, but they did that in the British accent, which would have sounded
which made it absolutely.
which made it sound even better. Yeah,
And frankly, I would vote for any member
My
of Spinal
favorite line
Tap.
in that movie.
Yes.
My favorite line in that movie is Michael McCain going, "I would comment on more, but I'm heavily sedated."
I'm heavily sedated right now.
Was it?
I tell you
And
what,
when Harry Shearer can't get out of the cocoon.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. For Big Bottom. Yeah.
man.
Again,
My favorite line is what? Was it first puppet show? Then was it the first puppet show?
Then Spinal Tap. And I
then
kept
Spinal
saying,
Tap. We're not opening for a puppet show. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, this is Derek Smells. He wrote this. Yeah, at the Spinal Tap Mark II jazz improvisation. When Harry Shearer goes back to start playing the bass with a wah-wah pedal, again, it's packed with just such little pieces like that you don't pick up on. Exactly. It's just like, oh yeah, this is where rock and roll had gotten by the late 70s, early 80s. This is where it had ended up.
Those guys really play though.
And
Yeah, that's true.
And recently, I saw some video of Blue Oyster Cult at SeaWorld, and I'm going, it's happened. It's true. It's no longer a
At
movie.
SeaWorld?
At SeaWorld. They're down there at SeaWorld back like
Jason,
in June.
did you say at SeaWorld?
I said at Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh
I like
my
Blue Oyster
God.
Cult at SeaWorld, which, okay. I mean, it's all a great big, at that point, it's just a huge gay innuendo at this point. I mean, it's like this bad 70s gay porn thing, the Blue Oyster Cult, SeaWorld, and sailors and Godzilla.
Eric Honey used to do a great line, and Eric's been gone like maybe 20 years now. Well, not that long, 15 years. But anyway, Eric had this great line where he says, "I love when these bands that are still touring come around to your town and you hear the ads on the radio. They go, 'This week at the Coliseum, it's Gary Puckett in the Union Gap.' Except now, the lead singer is the drummer's technician."
Exactly.
Well, that reminds me of when you see wrestling ads and they go, "Appearing tonight in Ypsilanti, Michigan, Hulk Hogan. In Detroit, Michigan, Kid T Punk." And then you finally get to one where there's no stars, and they go, "And in Chicago, a hell of an undercard." Also, one of the best things when I was coming up about pro wrestling were the guys who were there to get their ass kicked.
Yes.
And there was a guy. Correct me if I'm wrong. Barry Horowitz, is that right?
Yeah.
Chuck Wepner was one of those guys.
Right, but
Chuck Wepner was
in this corner, weighing 280 pounds, the Jew. Although Goldberg was enormously popular, and I often wondered, are the audiences so stupid that they don't know he's Jewish, or do they not care?
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, have you ever been to a wrestling event? I mean, you
My father knew Vince McMahon Sr. My father ran numbers for Vince McMahon Sr.
Wow. Well, that's useful, though. I mean, that's gambling. You can make some money with that. I like that. But, I mean, going all the way back I grew up in the golden age here in the 60s when you had like Bobo Brazil. I mean, anyone?
Antonina Rocca.
Yeah, you had the Saturday afternoon. But even then, as a little 8-year-old kid, I could tell this is all crap.
Well, they did a show on Fox News, not Fox News, on Fox about, the truth about wrestling. Yeah. And one of the things I never knew, and I followed wrestling like you did, Jason, is the referee is the person who runs the show.
Right.
So he'll say something like, like he'll get with 2 feet from the wrestlers and go, "Oh, wrap it up now." something like that. And
Or
also
stay down,
underneath
stay
the
down, stay down. They'd say,
right,
stay down, stay
also
down.
underneath the mat is a spring that could propel a Mack truck into the moon.
Oh,
And
God,
that's why
yes.
when they fall, there's two reasons they don't hurt themselves when they fall. Number one, they stop with their feet. They don't land on their back.
Yep.
That's number one. And number two, that's spring. I mean, these guys get hurt. There's no two ways about it.
Well,
if you're 260 pounds and you fall.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I don't know about you guys out in Washtenaw County. You guys, oh no, you grew up in Howell, right, Andy?
I grew up in actually Ypsilanti.
Oh, did you? Okay, and then
Same thing.
But anyway,
actually.
but where I grew up, we used to have what they called light guard armories.
Yes.
Where the National Guard would have their equipment, tanks and guns and all that stuff. And that's where they would have the wrestling matches because they had an arena. They basically a place where they could set up a boxing rink and have chairs around it. And that's where we used to go and see them for $2. And they often did them as fundraisers, but these guys that were professional wrestlers, it wasn't WWE like it is now. It was these guys did their personal appearances and their grocery store openings and all that stuff for their $50 or $60. And so we paid $2 to get in these places. And I remember the moment I knew it was fake, I was in the 4th grade. My dad's there with me, and we got a couple of neighbor kids. And they are kicking the shit out of each other in the ring, and they're doing they had blood capsules. I don't know if you remember those days.
Exactly.
They'd have them in their mouths, and so they'd get punched, and they'd snap it with their teeth, and then they'd have blood drooling out of their mouth.
That goes back to the gladiator games. They used to have blood bladders.
Yeah. So anyway, one guy gets
well, they
thrown
did that
out.
in the movie The Sting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. So this one guy gets thrown out of the ring. He bounces, and of course the chairs are, because it's we're in the 4th grade. A lot of little kids that are in this front row. They're not going to put us right up next to the ring where we're going to trounced by some 280-pound man. So he comes rolling along, and the kid jumps out of his chair, and he had his coat. It was the wintertime, so he had his coat down around the chair at the bottom, and he trips on it, and he falls into the chair next to it, and the wrestler comes and rolls into his chair. Well, they stopped the fight because this kid was down. Yeah. And I'm thinking, all he did was trip and he fell into these soft coats, and they're stopping everything. Well, because there's 2 men bleeding profusely. One, like, looking over this kid, is he all right? He said, "Oh, he's okay." And then they went back to kicking the shit out of each other. That's when I knew it was fake, because they were definitely more injured than this kid was. And
my brother-in-law Herbie used to beg me. I watched it because my father watched it.
Right.
He begged me. He said, "I am begging you. You're a smart kid." I was like 11. "You have to understand this is bullshit." Okay. so he watches an event with me, and this guy is hitting another guy in the mouth. And he said, "You hit a guy in the mouth with your closed fist, and you weigh 250 pounds, and you're not bleeding. Sammy, God, I'm begging you. I'll take you to Disneyland. Please, you have to realize." And you know what I said to him? I said, "Shh, wait a minute, he's going to pin him." I didn't care. And I'll tell you something else. They had a scandal a few years ago in wrestling about sexual, what am I trying to say? Sexual harassment of men against men, of officials. Of officials on the wrestlers, and they got Hulk Hogan to testify. And one of the things he said, because he was under oath, was, it's not real. And I thought this would be the death knell of wrestling, and it's bigger than ever.
Yeah.
And they know, the people going in, they know it's fake, or they're idiots.
Yeah. I think they're there. I think they're there for the show.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump has gone into the ring before, so
I so prayed someone would beat the shit out of him, because he wouldn't allow that. I have to be able to hit somebody and hurt them. Yeah,
remember though, he went into Madison Square Garden and got booed there.
Oh, I saw that.
Right after he got booed at the World Series in Washington, he went to. He said, "Well, I'll just go to New York where I'm liked," and they booed him there too. So.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened at that World Series, by the way? Huh?
Yeah.
What was
Do you know what happened at that World Series?
What?
The owner of the then, well, he's selling the team, but the owner of the Nationals, Mr. Lerner, who I always call Mr. Lerner because he gave Washington a national champion. He would not get Donald Trump's people. I love saying that, like they're Cherokee. Donald Trump's people called him and said, the president would like four seats. He'd like them in such and such and such and he'd like them, and he's going to be arriving an hour late, and blah blah blah. And Lerner said, "Tell Mr. Trump that if not president, he said, tell Mr. Trump if he wants to come to the game, he can pay." Yeah, and the guy said, "But he's the president." He said, "He's a billionaire. He can pay. There are people here who are going without a meal this week because they can't afford to, because of how expensive these seats are." He said, he can pay. If he doesn't want to pay, that's fine. I won't allow him in the stadium. And he didn't go.
Yeah.
Wow.
The one night he went to a playoff game. But they made him pay. And now there are cities, I'm sure you know this, there are cities in the United States where he wants to hold these rallies, and they go, "We want upfront money."
Oh, wow.
No, you're not. There's a story today about how he ripped off the Secret Service, for staying at Mar-a-Lago. He charged them exorbitant rates to stay there.
What a numbskull.
Yeah, but that was what, Washington Post?
Yeah.
Owned by Jeff Bezos, who famously hates Trump.
Well, the story about that was Trump threatened some kind of economic shit against Bezos, and Bezos, who can buy Trump and his whole family 10 times over.
Without even breaking a sweat.
Without blinking.
Trump's not really a billionaire. Trump's nowhere near as rich as people think he is.
Well, there was a story. I can't remember the writer's name. She's very. I can't remember. But she referred to Trump in an article as a thousandaire.
Yeah. That's about right.
And Trump said he was going to sue her.
Go for it.
And she said, "Okay, open up your books."
Yeah.
And that was the end of the lawsuit.
Yeah, they're about to say.
Wow.
Thousandaire. Hey, there you go. Yeah. This is the time. We live in a decidedly unserious time, folks, with really serious events going on around us.
Look at Herschel Walker. I mean, look at this asshole.
I've been sick enough, Sam. My head hurts. I mean, I caught almost 30 full seconds of the debate between him and Warlock, and it was just like, I can't take either one of these people. Herschel with his pro-life anti-abortion, while they've got the check at him making sure that the girl he knocked up gets the old womb broom. Raphael, who's had a little habit of knocking around his girlfriends or his wife. Is there any difference between the two? And you know what? I believe it's all true. I don't believe either one of these guys are very nice people. Herschel Walker's got the IQ of about an 18-watt light, or am I giving way too much credence to the 18-watt light? I mean, yeah. He
didn't show for the second debate.
Well, that's not a surprise. You win one, you get away, because the next time around.
No, that's not why he got lost.
Well, Warnock most likely could take him out, though. I mean,
yeah, but Warnock at least Warnock is the minister of the Ebenezer Baptist Church, whereas Walker can't spell Ebenezer or Baptist or church.
Or church. No, he's as dumb as a. But then you look at the disaster that they're running for Senate up there in Pennsylvania, up against Dr. Oz, and you've got the brain dead guy who's been living in his mama's basement for the last 50 years. Who looks like sort of like a phantom. Had a tryst with a Stuckey's waitress back in the 60s. This would have been the result, and
Stuckey's.
And, again, he had his stroke months ago.
But at least he lives in Pennsylvania.
Well, the Democrat Party could have at least replaced him. There was plenty of time to do that, to get him off the ticket. Look, this happened with Lautenberg 20 years ago when they had to bring him out because I forget what it was. Someone had something go sideways on it, but they were able to slip someone in about 6 weeks out. You could have done the same thing here and put in someone with an IQ somewhere above a potato. But they didn't. And now we've got the potato versus Dr. Oz. I mean, you can't look at this and go, this is the greatest deliberative body on earth. And we're trying to put these people, oh my God.
Well,
I mean, it's
you
painful. Andy, it's just you and me now.
Well, I don't want to say anything, but
Well,
you sound really sexy with a Brenda Vaccaro voice.
I'm about
That's
to say,
where
I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I mean,
No,
it's just the
you
two of
always
us.
go there. You always go to that low brow stuff. My friend.
Well, that's what can I say? It's
where you're at.
live.
That's where you're at. I got you.
At this point, should I even try to pretend it's something different? I don't think so.
Well, I'm always concerned.
Sam's back.
Here's what's
Thank God,
painful.
Sam. We need a third person here. I feel it was sexually harassed while we're on the air.
I've been pressuring Andy into illicit caresses.
It's been constantly on me all the time. I'm just tired of the sexual harassment.
Well, who wouldn't be?
I kind of enjoy it.
Well, I'm about to say, at this age, I would think you'd be used to it, but whatever. No, I just you look at that candidate for governor out there in Arizona. What is it, Carrie Lake? Carrie Lake. Razor Bush or whatever they're calling her. Politics has always been silly in this country, but my God, I've never seen it. But
if you look at the Southwest and you look at the South, and you look at who's senators there, and no matter what you think of his politics, Schumer and Pelosi are encyclopedically smarter than anyone that you could name in the South or the Southwest. Yeah. I mean, you got really this guy Paul Gosar, whose own family calls him a Nazi. His own family.
Yeah. Well, at least they're honest. They're not trying to hide anything. Not holding back.
Well, they're embarrassed.
I mean, do you remember when we did have Republicans like Margaret Chase Smith?
Smith, Jacob Javits, Edward Brooke.
Exactly. People who said no to funding the Vietnam War in 1975 when they were saying we just need another $500 million, which back then $500 million was a lot of money. And she said, no, after all this time, after everything we've given you, no, another $500 million. No, we're not going to do it. She put her foot down, and thank God for her. Bill Milliken here in the state of Michigan. Yeah. Or for that matter, Democrats like Carl Levin, who was a Democrat. He was certainly a lefty kind of guy. But he wasn't crazy, unhinged. He was a pretty pro-worker guy. He was.
You're talking about
very pro-worker.
Yes, he was. He was a decent man. And
you're talking about statesmen. That's what you're talking about.
People and the Republicans in this state. The whole Republican Party is owned and operated by that inbred Dutch Manson family, the Van Andels and the DeVosses, who've done nothing but rip off the whole world with their soap pyramid scheme while they sit there and inbreed till they got the perfect Van Andel, which I guess will have like unitary sex organs to match the unibrow.
Is Amway
what brought back the is why the Russians went against us?
Is Amway still that big?
Yes, Amway still makes a ton of money. There are still poor people all over the world who buy into that shit.
Because I was in a
with Chinese first, and then it finally is. When you finally have a guy and going like, he's in the middle of Russia, it's kind of going like, would you like to buy some Sheckley products? It's like,
I did a gig in Michigan. I think it was in Kalamazoo. I think isn't that where Amway is?
Sadly, yes.
Okay. And I stayed at the Amway Hotel.
Well,
you're in Grand Rapids. That's Grand Rapids.
At least it'll have indoor plumbing, kind of.
I got to tell you something. That was one gorgeous hotel. Man,
when you've ripped off generations of people of their hard-earned money, I'm sure you can build a very fine facility.
Yeah, but when the masseuse Ilona was massaging me with a loofah sponge, I said, fuck those people.
Thank you.
The Amway Grand Plaza is in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yes.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah, no doubt. But you look what they've done to the Republican Party in this state, and I just look at it and roll my eyes because it's like you people are the definition of insane. They actually run people that Alex Jones looks good compared to, and that is saying a lot.
Hey,
Here's the thing.
Jason.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Here's a demo.
They didn't do the Republican Party. The Republican Party allowed them.
You're cutting out, Sam.
Sam, I think the Russians are onto you. I think, Sam, the Russians are onto him. They're interfering with his thoughts.
Do you remember when the Democrat Party used to have Democrats in it like Mark Griffiths?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, when we had...
Hey, Sweetman, try and take me out. See if it'll work. Take me out.
All right. Now, does that do anything for us here? No. I don't see where that's doing anything. So, anyway, Jason can still hear me, right, Jason? All right, Jason, can you still hear me? All right. I'm losing everybody here. All right, Sam's gone. Here we go. Let's put him.
Hey, there you are.
Hey, Andy, can you still hear me?
No, Mark, now you're doing that clutch cargo thing.
I'm going to talk to Jason first. All right. I got everybody on my board here, but only I'm on the screen. It looks like Jason's about to come again. Can you hear me, Jason?
I can hear you.
Now, when you were out, could you still hear me? Could you still hear this?
Yes, I could.
Still see
yes, I could.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I'm going to, and I'll bring Sam and Andy. I'll get you back in here in a second, but with just the two of us, we can hear each other.
Yes.
I was going to say, now, I am probably more Democrat than anyone here. I'm an elected precinct delegate. I was actually on the ballot for the last 4 years.
All right.
And so I pay the dues and I'm a Democrat, right? Okay. Here's my complaint. Here's my biggest complaint about the Republicans. They had 9 candidates for governor this year.
Oh, they were all
9.
Awful.
All right, wait a minute. Of those 9, you know how many ever held elected office?
I don't think a single one.
0.
Yeah.
They couldn't find one person that had actually won an election before to run. I mean, I'm not saying that person has to win, right? But not one person who's run for an elected office will run for governor?
Because the Republican Party is owned and operated by the Van Andels and DeVosses. Now, I know I throw that out a lot. But my point is this. They're not that interested in winning. They are more interested in controlling this apparatus. You know, whether you win or not really doesn't matter that much. You still have sway in both the House and the Senate here at the state level. And you can slow things down or get legislation to maybe go your way. And at the same time, you don't have to lead. You don't have the burden of leadership at this point. You can always point the finger.
Yes,
and say, what an awful governor she is.
Yes, when you're not in the leadership. Yeah, when you're not in the leadership, you can make blame. Then if you get the leadership, then you have to have it pointed at you.
Then all of a sudden you got to have a pair of balls and know how to carry them, which they don't have, and they haven't had for 40 years. Ever since they foisted that pigtailed idiot John Engler on us. Remember how much fun that man was? Yeah,
I lived in California at that time, so I don't remember him.
Good
as much.
For you. You missed nothing.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring Andy back in now.
Okay.
And see if we can still do it. And then I'm going to take myself, Andy. I'm going to take myself out.
Okay.
And then I'm going to work on getting Sam back in here. So you guys can keep this.
Okay. So Andy, have you ever thought about sending me some shirtless pictures? Maybe. I mean, you don't have to go all the way. I mean, just sort of above the belt.
Once again, the sexual harassment.
I'll send you the bottle of olive oil and Pepto-Bismol.
All right. I will send you a picture of George Lucas naked. If that'll just finally repel you from talking.
This is just between you and me. And I mean, if you tell anybody, I'm gonna deny it all, dude. I mean,
Really.
Yes, I won't admit anything.
You and me, and thank God we're on the TV, and only 4 other people know.
That's right.
That's right. Using that Brenda Vaccaro voice again.
Yes, I'm going to cough a lung up. I'll be right back.
Okay. So it's just me and a head. Who's that? Who's there? Oh, is Sam there?
I got 2 Sams on my dashboard here, and I'm putting them both on the screen to see which one's up.
This is the multiverse is hitting the station now.
I can't figure out which one is the one that's actually Sam.
Well, he's a dot.
Yeah.
Yeah, high tech.
Oh, I guess he's in.
I can hear him, but he's also got the issue.
Andy, about every 12 minutes, it goes away. Oh, something went wrong.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Sam. We just can't see you now.
Gone.
Oh, it's back to 2 of us. All right, let's bring Andy back on here. It looks like he's done with his coughing fit.
There we go.
Jason.
I'm sorry, Jason. Yeah, Jason. Andy, you look like you're in one of those Queen videos where they just had their heads in silhouette in the dark background.
Oh, okay. I guess I can't remember. I don't know. I don't have a song I can sing for Queen. I don't know. How's it go? I'm kind of worried about the dog thing. Either it's the YMCA or Queen will be coming up. Dressing the dogs as Queen.
Okay, I got a very important comedy question.
Yes, sir.
This is very important, and I know that I have the 4 people on the screen right now that can see humor in this. What should the response to a nuclear weapon being used in Ukraine be? What should that response be? Make it funny. Make it funny. Let's go.
Make it funny?
Make it funny, yeah. Make it funny. Wow.
I think we should hear Shackley products.
But there's no...
Well, let me see. I think maybe let's just going to your basement and getting into your lead line room and learning how to get really limber so that you can finally do that trick you've always talked about where you put your head between your legs and kiss your ass
goodbye. Your ass goodbye.
Because that's where that goes. I mean, if there's a nuclear weapon used in Ukraine, all bets are off, and it is a really bad day. And let's hope to God it doesn't happen. I mean, this present leadership is full of midwits who I believe honestly think they're smart enough to wage a limited nuclear war, and that is one of the stupidest ideas ever. It was one of the things that used to drive me nuts about Reagan back in the early 80s when he had his kitchen cabinet. Yeah. And they used to propose, well, we would go with counter value versus counter force, Trump did
the same thing. Trump did the same thing. He said, if we have it, how come we can't use it?
Well, because if you use it, everyone else is going to use theirs.
No, I understand the answer to that. But no one ever said to Trump, because it'll be horrible, you jackass. That's why. Now shut up. Well, no one ever said that to him.
I was reading the Wall Street Journal, and they were all figuring if the nuclear hit, they'd make their hedge funds a little better. That's it.
Well, that would be about the size of the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, nuclear Armageddon, markets to close early.
They're just worried about their hedge funds. There we go.
Right. I mean, iodine stocks definitely going to go up. Asbestos, believe it or not, is back. Because you're really not that worried about long-term exposure. You just don't want to be incinerated in the short term. So
West Virginia will be the hot spot for real estate. Those mines are really good.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of hotels there with some nice big holes underneath them. That
I tell you, if those boys get really going fast, they can go like chickens to a barnyard right through the night. Yes,
well, I got some.
I think they can get there, sir. Yeah.
I got some good news for you guys that live near Detroit.
Yes,
because in the '60s, when I was in school, we learned about how Detroit was a major target of the Russians.
Yes, it was.
Missiles, because we had all this manufacturing productivity, and we we had just built the war effort for World War II. And so when they started aiming missiles, they aimed them here. And now we are so depressed and so not manufacturing anything anymore that we're not a big target anymore.
No,
so,
there's a few places where if it went off, it would be like, thank you. Oh,
thanks. We'll rebuild. We'll rebuild. Finally, we get rid of those potholes. There we go.
I mean, the rest of the state looks like an economic neutron bomb went off about 25, 30 years ago, and the only thing that's left are the opioid-soaked knuckle draggers that are still hobbling around in the rest of this godforsaken burg.
You're talking about my people.
Yeah, and mine.
Yeah,
sadly.
Is it? Yeah. I get Detroit. It's a place that it's so bad you just can't even get a nuclear bomb to go off in the place.
Well, have you seen what Hiroshima and Nagasaki look like today?
They look great.
Yeah, what Detroit looks like today. I mean,
the arsenal of democracy. I believe the Japanese people just said, "Well, all right, it is now. Let's just wait 50 years."
Let's see what happens here.
Yeah. I mean, if we could just get somebody to invade, if Canada would invade Detroit, and then we get money from Canada to rebuild it, which is kind of like what's happening now.
They're still happy that they got the one and done back in the War of 1812. They beat us then, and they're not going to they're not going to endanger that. They're like,
and they're too damn nice.
True.
Well, till you start tipping their strippers in Canadian instead of U.S. dollars. I mean, that's when they start getting a little
But
antsy
it's full frontal nudity with liquor, man. You don't.
What do you mean? You're dropping a toonie down her G-string there?
There's no G-strings over there. It's full frontal nudity, buddy.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a while since I've been there.
It's socialism.
It's socialism. It's alcohol with full frontal nudity. You can't get that anywhere, my friend.
Oh, Canada.
That's what the socialist world gives you.
That is socialism.
That is where I met, what was her name? The chick that used to, I would say she used to fuck Charlie Sheen, but everyone fucked Charlie Sheen.
Thank you.
Ginger Lynn. That's where I met
Ginger
Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah, and got a picture taken with her and her lesbian girlfriend. She had a lesbian guard who looked like Aunt B on steroids. I mean, this woman, had that whole granite haircut, with great biceps. Good definition. Definitely could have kicked my ass in a push-up contest.
I look at you right now, Jason. You should have gone to the comedy, the Motor City Comic Con, and just signed things as George Lucas.
Yeah,
you could have gotten $1 million, my friend.
Yeah,
Do you guys see any of Joe the Animal's photos he brought from there?
I did. He had Loretta Swit and Jamie Farr.
He had a great one of Alice Cooper. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw Alice Cooper. Yeah, he spent what $500 in that. He went out.
Woo!
I can understand why, but it's like 2 days, man.
Well, you know what though? That's what he lives for. That shit.
I know.
You know what I mean? I mean, I spent $500 on Chinese dining, in the last year. So I don't have.
He had the Doctor Who crew there too. So he
doesn't need to put it away for his kids' college fund, shall we say?
Yeah. Well, he's still living at home. He's putting together his fund for maybe when he gets his own house.
I mean, I've just got to give him a couple of tips so that he knows how to do things like preserve your parents' bodies in a freezer in the basement, so you can keep signing the Social Security checks. And make sure that.
Oh, you're so.
Just looking out for Joe.
Taxidermy for. He's going to school for taxidermy right now.
If you don't.
Joe the Animal.
Joe is going to school. He's taking, I think,
communications.
Communications, yeah.
Yeah, so he's continuing his adventures in video and communications.
He might consider taking some speech therapy. Get rid of the stutters.
For the stutters, speech therapy. But actually, that might actually get him. If he has a stutter, that'll probably get him a job. So he doesn't blend in with the other guys. Like, it was that woman that had that sort of like voice, was like, "Hi, this is Diane Reeves."
Diane
That
Rehm.
was on here forever because of that stuff, you know?
Oh, Diane Rehm from NPR, that one?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She was like, hi, Diane Reeves.
Diane Reams, yeah. Harry Reams' wet nurse.
No.
Yes, this is Diane. Oh, man, I used to love NPR, man.
She was great. Yeah.
I
can
still
never
love
listen to
NPR. In fact, this time of year, anytime I might start heading back over to commercial stations, right about May of every election year, I go, well, that's enough. I don't need any more. I've heard all the commercials I need to hear for the candidates. I go back over to public radio.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, public radio used to be great late night around here in this neighborhood. Stuff coming out of ABX and whatnot. Some really great jazz. Detroit still has an incredible jazz and their public school system, that radio station they have.
Oh, the Detroit Public School radio station is a great. That is a great station. Yeah,
that is an amazing station. It'll be destroyed soon, no doubt. And
why?
It'll be because we can't have nice things in this country, and a station with a gigantic.
You know that the Detroit Public School station has been around for years. They just don't.
I know.
They just don't let the students and teachers anywhere near it.
Thank God.
Exactly.
I mean, it's still the last one that plays classical music and during the day and jazz at night, and not the same old jazz standards, but stuff. It's like, wow, that's John Coltrane from a club in Washington D.C. in '64, and you're like, wow, that was amazing, you know.
And anytime there's a work stoppage, like a strike by the teachers or something like that, that radio station is the connection the students have to the schools for all the information they need.
I remember that. I think
became a puzzle with a lot of missing pieces. There's a lot of trying to play
something going on in the back room there.
There's a lot of clues in the story, but no easy answers. It seems
So,
like it just doesn't.
Are the Yankees playing tomorrow night or tonight?
Tonight. The Yankees play tonight.
They're rained out tonight.
Oh, are they? All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they just showed Yankee Stadium. It's coming down in sheets.
Oh, well, they needed.
God.
You know what? Their pitchers needed a rain out, so that's.
So they're gonna play tomorrow night then.
If it doesn't rain.
So both games are going to be tomorrow night then.
What is the other game?
I thought there was supposed to be a Tuesday game for
the Phillies and the Phillies and the Braves are playing tomorrow, and then
not the Braves.
Wednesday. Not the Braves, the Phillies and the Padres. The Phillies and
San
the Padres
Diego
are playing tomorrow.
Padres.
Yeah, and then Wednesday was supposed to be the Yankees and whoever the Yankees Guardians winner is going to play the Astros. That was supposed to start Wednesday, and then they were going to alternate like that. So we'll see.
I think they're all playing for the right to lose to the Astros.
Yeah,
pretty much. Pretty much, the Astros look pretty good, and. I was really hoping that the Mets and the Dodgers would stay in it a little bit longer than they did.
The Yankees had the best relief pitching in the major leagues, and then 4 of them are having Tommy John surgery. 4.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Oh,
but if you remember the first half of the season, they were unstoppable. But then all of their relievers went down.
Oh
man.
Well, we had 5 starting pitchers on the Tigers that had to go out on the extended disabled list.
Was New York able to get anybody off the rental? You know, someone they could bring in for just the rest of the season.
They had a couple of guys who did okay, but they had all stars who went out.
Oh man,
I think we should have smaller bats.
Man, I'm telling you, are you kidding me? If we had an Aaron Judge and a Giancarlo Stanton on our team, that would be enough for us.
Oh yeah. Well,
you can have Stanton. You can have.
Oh, can we?
I think to save the elbows, we need to have smaller bats.
Now.
Oh no,
he's either injured or striking out.
Yeah, I tell you what, though, we've got one of the nice things about having all the injuries this year is we got to move a lot of kids up from AAA Toledo, and we got to see them. And there's some pretty good ball players coming up. They just need some major league seasoning.
I think to save the pitchers, we need smaller bats. Just keep it all in. Keep it all inside the park, you know.
When I was in prison, I used to talk about smaller bats all the time. Never
Hello.
did me any good.
You were using them as a dildo, man. I don't understand why that. You know?
Oh man, yeah, those little play bats.
And the splinters, don't ask.
Wasn't nobody playing. I'm here to tell you.
It wasn't so much the splinters. It was the pine tar.
Somebody hold my rosin bag, please.
Pine tar was my dancer name back then. You know,
Pine tar was my dancer name back then.
Yes.
Because once you saw him, you just stuck to you. You know.
Yeah.
My favorite
show.
My favorite. Now you guys went to Tiger Stadium, right? I know Sam probably didn't get there.
Oh, back in the old days, old Tiger Stadium.
Tiger Stadium.
I did. I went to Tiger Stadium.
Tiger Stadium sat 48,000 people, half and half. I mean, there were like 24,000 upper deck and 24,000 lower deck. Yeah. No, it was. But the thing is, every year when my dad would take me to bat day, and there would be thousands of kids, like 15, 20,000 kids, and they'd be banging those bats on the bleachers, and you always had the public announcer going, boys and girls, this stadium is 58 years old. Please do. There is concrete falling from underneath you in the upper deck. The people in the lower deck, please stop banging your bats on the bleachers.
Well, they used to do a thing. They used to. There was a guy at Yankee Stadium. It wasn't Bob Merrill, but he did an impression of Bob Merrill. He goes, "Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, gays and straights, welcome to Yankee Stadium." And also, you remember John Manfrotto?
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to do this bit. I love this about Phil Rizzuto. That there were two jokes in it. One was Bill White, who worked with Phil Rizzuto. He said he would go, "Well, it's the top of the sixth inning, and just about now, Phil is just getting off of the GW Bridge because he was gone. You know, he did the first half of the game, and then good night. And then the other thing was that Phil Rizzuto really didn't pay attention to the game, so he'd go like this. "Well, you know, Cora and I were having a wonderful meal at El Del Shanti's, and oh, look at that, a triple play. And I'm telling you that."
Oh, man.
Oh, back when sports could be a little bit fun. You know,
here's how fun it was. My dad started taking me to ball games when I was 8, and that was 68. That was the year they won the World Series. We had to see easily 30 games that year. But he taught me the trick. And what he would do was he knew, because he had worked at Hudson's where they used to sell tickets. I don't know if you guys remember Grinnell's and Hudson's, those places that had the ticket selling machines. And so what he found out was that the best seats were never sold at the ticket stations. They were held back for players and dignitaries. And so my dad would always take me to the players' entrance where there was a ticket booth there. And he would say, "Do you have 2 tickets in the family section?" "Yeah, which family are you? And what do you got?" You know, and they would say, "Oh no, you got to be a family member." He says, "Well, Andrew Jackson says I'm a family member." Because he slid the $20 bill across to the ticket seller.
Wow.
And we get 2 box seats, 3 rows from the dugout. It was great.
I just caught that joke because for just a fleeting moment, I thought your father was insane. Well, Chester Arthur. What?
Chester Arthur.
Yes.
Boy,
well, I'll take
about a guy who couldn't take a bullet.
I'll take President Taft's seats while he's standing for the 7th inning stretch, if you don't mind.
Because there's no seat that can hold him.
Yeah, well, it takes 2 seats, and I have my son with me, so we have to get.
So what do you say? Are there people who get on airplanes? I've often wondered this. Who are so fat they have to pay for 2 seats?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, if you Google it, or if you go to YouTube and just put in the search people who have to buy 2 seats for airplanes, they actually do selfies and videos of it.
Yeah. I mean, I would be one of those people. Yeah, that.
There is it has to deal with being able to use the seatbelt. There is a seatbelt extender,
Right.
but if you go beyond the seatbelt extender, you need to get 2 seats.
Yeah, but when you look like a starburst of adipose tissue with legs, it's like this. This has got to stop. We have to be realistic about this.
But I mean,
a supernova of fat sitting next to you, perspiring while you're trying to do anything for 3 or 4 hours.
Nothing worse than a sweaty supernova.
Oh my God!
Well,
my mom and I were flying back from Los Angeles one time, and there's this huge guy in the gate area, huge. And my mom turns to me and she says, with my luck, Tubbo over here is going to be right next to me.
Right next to us.
Tubbo?
Yeah,
Tubbo. So anyway, she didn't say it loud enough that anybody could hear it. But so anyway,
Karma heard it.
So now we're way in the back of the plane, and we're thinking, oh, I hope he doesn't sit next to you because he's going to weight the back of the plane down so much we may not get
You'll be flying straight up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, so he looks at his ticket, and then he looks down, and there's the empty seat, and now he's got the window seat. My mom's got the middle seat. I got the aisle, and he goes, "That's my seat there." And my mom just starts giggling, like, and she goes, "I called it."
Yeah.
And she started giggling. And
That's funny.
The guy says, "What?" She says, "Go to," and then she says, "Go to the toilet now." So that I don't have to get up or you during the flight.
Oh wow!
Do you remember that Seinfeld where Elaine came out of the bathroom after the big fat guy went in?
Oh my God!
The look on her face of just total despair.
Yeah.
Oh God!
There was a story about a woman who is planning to leave her husband. This is true. Because he bought a ticket in first class, but hers was coach.
I like that. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
And she said, "Why are you doing this?" He goes, "Well, I can't afford to first class." She goes, "I understand that. Why are you in first class?" He goes, "Well, because I bought the seats." And I thought, you couldn't plan a worse answer than that.
Yeah.
Narcissistic.
I mean, I think that came right from his heart, or whatever is between his nipples. But he absolutely, that's what he. Yeah, that's right. I'm cheap.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
They professionally narcissistic. They have no clue.
Yeah, one time
I hear music, but there's no one there.
Oh yeah, that music means we're almost done here. So it's been another 60 minutes of fun and firmament, and boy, always fun having you guys on Monday nights, and we look forward to it again every Monday night, 8:00. We're doing it live now. I'm going to look into some more technology here because we have so many problems going live here. But we'll definitely be back, even if it's a tape show. We'll figure it out. We'll figure out what to do. Anyway. That's it for October 17th. We'll see you again on October 24th. On behalf of Sam, Andy, and Jason, I'm Mark Sweetman. Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys. Take care.